days of long ago, created by the cosmic legends of the universe. There stands one man, one great man, a man dedicated to preserving all that is good in pop culture. Loved by few, hated by many. Alone in his fortress of awesomeness, he battles fearlessly against the wolf, the evil, the unjust. To right that which is wrong, to stand for justice, to serve all mankind. He is the one, the only, the Comic Relief Crusader. Hey everybody, welcome to another Titillating Tuesday. I am the Comic Relief Crusader and ready for more mirth and merriment on a otherwise dull Tuesday. Here to perk up your spirits and ready to chat about anything and everything that's going on in the entertainment industry. That, well, what can I say? Could be better. Thank God it ain't worse. Not until Picard season 3 comes out. Well, let's see. Who do we got in the chat tonight? Well, so far we got, besides me, of course, we got Snaggle Fricklepuss. That says, "Hail Crusader! Saw you on saw you on Doomcock's channel. Very awesome. Congrats. Going to listen from work again, so I'm lurking." Well, thank you for lurking. And yeah, I was on Doomcock's channel last week on Wednesday. Was quite fun. I did it as a favor to Rancor Steve, excuse me, who was away at work. So, I messaged him and said, hey, dude, I mean, if you're going to be gone, if you're going to be busy, then, if you want, I'll fill in for you, bud. If that's okay, if you want me to. And he said, well, it's not really my choice. It's up to Doomcock. And, well, then, next thing I know, thanks to Gary Ambrosia, he talked to him and he said, look, man, I'll vouch for him. He's a good, upstanding dude, and i.e. me, and I'll vouch for him, and if anything goes wrong, then it's my head on the proverbial silver platter. So, yeah, so I got the link and I went on and and we got the Lost Wanderer in with a very, with a very scathing comment. So Gary lied for you. Yes, he did. That's what bros are for. So I got the link and yeah, I was on Pop Culture Breakdown on Wednesday. So it was pretty cool. And Doomcog said, you did a good job, and maybe we'll rotate you on occasion to fill in for somebody or have you on the show again. So that was pretty cool. So far, the highlight of my quote unquote YouTube career, I guess. Which ain't bad. I'm not complaining. It was totally fun. And yeah, and I guess on Friday, um, during a show on Friday, I mean, lots of people were like, "Yeah, you rock, comic. That's awesome." So also welcome the Lost Wanderer for popping in with that scathing comment. I appreciate it. So what do we got to talk about tonight? Well, Disney's at it again. But first, it wouldn't be a another stupid Tuesday without a stupid funny headline, wouldn't it? So let's go from there. So what do we got for stupid news today from the Independent? God. Yeah. Snark is just not for Manorama nights. Exactly. I totally 100% agree. Okay, so for stupid news, this one from the Independent, I thought, oh god, this is hilarious, man. So, man sues woman for emotional trauma for refusing to be his girlfriend. Oh my god. This is beyond funny. I'm sorry, I just find this hilarious. Man sues woman for emotional trauma for refusing to be his girlfriend. Well, I mean, what can I say about this? Let's think about this for a minute. First of all, A, we don't know what the woman looks like, and B, we don't know what the man looks like. So there could be lots of things. And as I don't read the article, because a lot of news nowadays, let's just face it, is a lot of pap and a lot of tripe. That it's not even really worth reading the article. I mean, I probably should, but you know what? It's just the headlines alone that are just funny. Um, you know, if a woman doesn't want to date you, doesn't want to be your girlfriend, and you know what? And it goes the other way around too, okay? Goes the other way around. Um, Either you're horribly, horribly ugly, let's put it that way. I don't know. Maybe the maybe the woman was fat phobic or something. God. Um, okay. Or hey, maybe he was just a jerk and she don't play by those rules. So who knows? Either way, um, you know what? It's not like a store that you can just sue a company for bad product. It's just ridiculous. The things that people do, just the things that people do. I'm sure Buddy will get over it and maybe realize, God, I can't talk today, and probably reevaluate his life. Um, Wondering, maybe it's not them, maybe it's me. Um, More than likely, that's what I'm thinking. But really, suing a person over emotional trauma just because she won't go out with you, dude, get over yourself. It's not like you're God's gift to women or, probably humanity at that point. So, and then again, maybe he was totally nice and maybe the woman would be, was, a total jerk. But then again, still, he sued the woman for emotional trauma. I just found this really funny, just hilarious. Just, just to look at these stupid headlines. I could have probably picked something better, like, oh, I don't know. Um, hmm. What could have I have picked? Oh, yes, I know. Probably the most hilarious thing going on right now. Um, you want to know what the most hilarious thing going on right now is? Yes, of course you do. It's it's wah, wah. God, Madonna. Lord, what the heck? I know everybody is talking about this, and probably nobody really wants to see this in on video right now, but dang, what happened? What you know what? You know what this screams to me, okay, about Madonna? Okay, first of all, you know what? If I saw this face, if I was, going out on a date or something like that, and particularly a blind date, or you know what, even if it's like, one of those dating sites, and of course the face is like totally different, and this shows up because of this face, I'd be suing for emotional support because there's a legitimate reason right there. Dang, it's like she had surgery and just somebody stuck a whole bunch of silly putty in her face or something like that. Dang. You know what? Like, aside from, what she's into now, which, oh boy, is extremely questionable. Let's put it that way. Um, back in the 80s, and I suppose even probably maybe, let's say, early to mid 90s, I mean, Madonna was still, relatively hot, physically speaking. Okay. Emotionally is another matter, and probably mental. I mean, dang. But, she was still pretty damn good looking. But now, holy crow, she just looks bad. Reminds me of that botch job that happened to the former Mrs. Elvis. Um, not Lisa Marie, of course, but 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 the mom. Dang, I just horrible, 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 horrible. Anyway, so yeah, I guess Disney's in the headlines again. Wow. It just never seems to stop with Disney. So, okay. So this is pretty much what we're going to be talking about because it's like all in the news and whatnot. Um, so let's start from there. Shall we? Shall we dare? Okay. Let's start with this, okay? And found the article on bounding into comics, and which is a great resource, by the way, for a lot of news and a lot of articles and whatnot. Disney's proud family and prouder. That just says everything in the title right there. Advances radical division to children after previously pushing not so secret gay agenda. Well, if anything is anywhere, and anywhere would be Disney, and anything would be everything that they were trying to push, especially last year. Oh my God. Well, it seems like they're doubling down, and well, what can I say? They're definitely wanting to push this whole agenda of everything. So there was a interesting post that was made on TikTok, and I'm gonna play this. And YouTube, don't blame me. I'm just reporting the news as it is. So yeah. So here's what we're gonna do. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. If I can get the screen, da da da. I don't seem to be on the ball tonight, but that's okay. Okay. So here's what it is. It's pretty anti-white, let's put it that way, and pushing this whole Black Lives Matter crap. Let's get some context. Let's play the clip here.
This country was built on slavery, which means slaves built this country. Tilled this land from sea to sea to sea. First there was rice, tobacco, sugar cane. Then Whitney did his thing and cotton became king. And we were its soldiers, 4 million strong. Fighting for America's freedoms, even though we remained America's slaves. Built this country. The descendants of slaves continue to be built this. Slaves built this country. And we, the descendants of slaves in America, have earned reparations for their suffering. And continue to earn reparations every moment we spend submerged in the systemic prejudice, racism, and white supremacy that America was founded with and still has not atoned for. Slaves built this country. Not only field hands, but carpenters, masons, blacksmiths, musicians, inventors built cities from Jamestown to New Orleans to Banneker, Washington. 40 acres and a mule. We'll take the 40 acres, keep the mule. We made your families rich. From the southern plantation heirs to the northern bankers to the New England ship owners, the founding fathers, former presidents, current senators,
the Illuminati, the New World Order.
Slaves built this country. We had Tubman, Turner,
Frederick D.
Didn't they say Lincoln freed the slaves?
But slaves were men.
And women. And only we can free ourselves. Emancipation is not freedom. Jim Crow, segregation, redlining, public schools, feeding private prisons, where we become slaves again. As we celebrate Juneteenth for the umpteenth time, our account is still outstanding. Because this country was built on slavery, which means slaves built this country. And we demand our 40 acres and a mule. About that, you can keep the mule.
Keep the 40.
We're taking our freedom.
Oh, God. Okay. That's just the start of it. First of all, slaves did not build this country. Okay. Sorry, but they didn't. They just didn't. Okay. First of all, if I know my history correctly, and I believe I do, well, first of all, it was God, it was explorers that came to North America, and not just America, but but Canada too. That first of all built this country. Yes, I'm not saying that there weren't slaves in the South. Okay, we all know that part of history, but it was by manpower first of all, and the tilling of the land. It like the way they make this sound like is that no. Oh God, and I hate putting color into it, but they make it sound like no white man that essentially came over to America did anything, and everything was done by slaves, which is just factually, well, first of all, it's a lie, but factually wrong. Okay. I mean, this is ridiculous. Do not let your children watch such biased comments. How many woke terms and phrases were used in this cartoon for kids? Teaching children to dislike America, North America, from a very young age. This is like pure indoctrination. So the first generation immigrants were responsible, were they? So were the first Russian immigrants responsible for reparations? What about the Pakistani or the Indian people, Brazilian or Chinese? Only whites have to pay? Seriously? Like, what about the Irish people that came over, that built the railroads? Do they, that were essentially slaves? Are they due reparations? What about the people that immigrated far later that came to North America? Like, for example, my mom's German, my dad's Austrian, and they came to Canada. What was it, 68? And built a life here. So what? Just because they're white, do they have to pay reparations when they had nothing to do with slavery whatsoever? Seriously? Like, this is just ridiculous. They make it sound like only black people were slaves. You know what? There were a lot of native people that were brought into slavery, which is just ridiculous. I mean, Disney at this point is just pandering to the lowest common denominator. They have to get money from even the folks that are on food stamps. It's just ridiculous. You notice the red-haired girl, she didn't even bother saying anything. Um, plus on top of that, what was it, the black kid? Like, I don't know these characters' names, so forgive me. But the male black child, as soon as he mentions like the Illuminati or the New World Order, it's like, oh, the hand goes over the mouth. Can't say that. When it's pretty much exactly that. But you know what? It's white Europeans that came over here that built this country. I noticed that they don't mention in the video who originally sold them into slavery. Oh, gee, I wonder who that could be. Woman King movie, ring any bells? That was basically, that had a scrubbed history. And reparations are the fact that they got here to stay. Many of them actually did get their payment, their 40 acres and a mule. I mean, this is just, it's, oh God, it's just so stupid. Just so ridiculous. It's unbelievable. Anyway, on to the article. Sorry, but this does have to do what Disney is producing. And, Proud Family is actually part of this, right? So let's take a look at the article. Last year, executive producer for Disney television animation, LaToya Raveno, admitted Disney's Proud Family, Louder and Prouder, was responsible for grooming your children with the LGBTQ propaganda. And this year, the show is back to groom your children with Radical Division in season 2. Okay? If you're not familiar with the name LaToya Raveno, you should be. She's the woman who last year, and I covered this on a YouTube video last year. You can go watch it. Go back into the library and watch it. She's the woman who last year in a Disney staff meeting admitted to an agenda to groom and propagandize your children. The Disney television animation producer went on record, it's on video, it's forever, admitting how she has turned the studio into her own personal pocket to insert as much LGBTQ content as possible. In my little pocket of Proud Family Disney TVA, the showrunners were super welcoming. Meredith Roberts and our leadership over there has been so welcoming to my not at all secret gay agenda, she declared. It's on video. You can go watch it. Maybe it was that way in the past, but I guess something must have happened in the last. They're turning it around. They're going hard. And then, like, all that momentum that I felt, that sense of, I don't have to be afraid of these two characters kissing in the background. I was just whatever I could, just basically adding queerness. If you see anything queer in the show, no one would stop me, and no one was trying to stop me. Damn. Well, I mean, I could play the video, but then again, like I said, just go check it out on my channel from last year. So yeah, I mean, again, so they're not hiding it. And just in the video that you saw, boy, they're pushing. They're really pushing. Following these comments, the show was not only renewed for a second season by Disney, but they also announced that Raveno would now be the director of the then upcoming second season of the series alongside Rudy Bloss and Tara Nicole Whitaker. Oh, God. Like, really? I just can't. I mean, this alone just screams, rating plummets. Just horrible. Horrible. The series was originally a reboot of The Proud Family. See, back then, The Proud Family was okay. It was fine. A Disney Channel animated cartoon from the early 2000s that had a strong following with African American audiences over 20 years ago. That's right. And like I said, it was pretty good. It was pretty decent. So in 2021, Disney rebooted it to feature two gay dads, of course, voiced by Zachary Quinto. Oh, of course. And Billy Porter, of course, who are the adopted parents of a 14-year-old anti-Trump social justice activist. Oh my God. Of course, of course. So the second season of the show premiered on Disney Plus last Wednesday, just in time for Black History Month, of course. And the show decided to turn up its propaganda to 11. The show is still attempting to groom children into the LGBTQ community, especially in episodes directed by Ravenel. But the writers are also aiming for for radical division between blacks and whites in its children's show. See, now there's an important thing to note. Aiming for radical division between blacks, whites in its children's show. You know, we pretty much had this all solved by the 90s. Really, honestly, if you think back, how many shows did you watch that had like primarily black families? There were lots of them. I mean, there are like probably too many to name, or had, like a mixed family. I don't know, let's say Different Strokes, or let's say The Cosby Show, or let's say what was that one show where the dad was a cop? Mom worked at a newspaper or something like that. I'm trying to remember. That had Steve Urkel. I'm trying to remember what the name of the show was. But there were lots of shows, lots of them. For God's sake, the Jeffersons was started in 1977. It lasted like what, 10, 11 seasons? Had a quote unquote mixed couple, right? The husband was white, the wife was black. But you know what? By this time, by the 90s, we had this all beat. We didn't look at color, but now it just seems like these writers, these directors just want to instigate hatred. And on top of that, oh well, it's this activist is basically like, this anti-Trump, what was it, this 14-year-old anti-Trump social justice activist. For God's sake. I'm pretty conservative, by all means, and probably just admitting that it's probably, I'm not even monetized, but if they end up watching this show, I'm probably not going to get monetized anyway eventually. Whatever, doesn't matter. The point is, I don't have a problem with your skin color. You know what? Even to say the word racist doesn't even make sense. Because we're all human beings. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. I don't care if you're black or tan or whatever. I don't care. I love you as a human being. Unless, of course, you're a jerk, then I just don't want to have anything to do with you. But color doesn't mean a thing. Your personality, the content on what you are saying or spreading, the content that's in your mind, which comes out of your mouth, is what I'm more interested in, dear viewer, as a person than the color of your skin. I don't go out of my way to hate on somebody because they happen to be, black or white or, Asian or whatever. Doesn't matter to me. But to produce material like this, like, do you like the question to really ask these people? It's like, do you want to start, first of all, do you want to start a race war? And second of all, do you really want children that end up watching your show, and I hope a lot of parents actually do not let them watch this show, not what it's become. But do you really want your children to grow up to be hateful bastards? Excuse the language. I mean, do you really want that? No. Like, no sane parent would want their child to grow up to be, well, to be a dick, really. You know, and if you do, well, then by all means, you're a bad parent. Anyway, multiple viral clips of the episode entitled Juneteenth, it's not even a word, whatever, have spread on the internet showing that the cartoon has gone in on on the radical left-wing agenda seen pushed by Marxist groups such as Black Lives Matter with the objection to groom children into Marxist ideology, because that's essentially what it is. It is a Marxist ideology. And the episode, Maya, who is a young activist in the show, discovers that the founder of Smithville, California, where the show is located, was a slave owner. Oh, of course. Yeah. Oh, surprise. This was just discovered. Frig. Oh, this is just so stupid how they just make it up going along. Of course, you know, make some white male that lived several hundred years ago, yeah, of course, a slave owner. You know what? Here's another thing. Not all slave owners were evil people. There were a lot of quote unquote slave owners that bought quote unquote slaves, or legitimate slaves, to free them, to send them to freedom. A lot of them went through the Underground Railroad to the north, where they were free, or even further, and this is part of Canadian history as well, into Canada, where a lot of people got them into Canada, where they lived perfectly normal lives, where they owned things, where they owned a home, or they owned property. And a lot of them that fled to the northern United States, right, the Confederate side, they owned property. But even if some quote unquote slave owners did own slaves, a lot of them were actually treated pretty half decently. Now, I'm not saying I agree with slavery. I don't, right? Because people should not own people. People should not own people. People are not animals to be owned, to be treated like crap, right? That's why, you know what? Even if you're in debt, get out of it, because you are a slave to the lender, okay? But the thing they never touch up on is the people that sold these people into slavery. And a lot of them came from Africa, obviously. Almost back in the day, they all came from Africa. And many of the African people captured a lot of other African people and sold them as slaves. But that's never mentioned, is it? Never. But no, it's the evil white people, and it's the evil white people in America. Anyway, after questioning her white teacher, oh boy, about the true history of Smithville, the show teaches kids that the Emancipation Proclamation only applied to the Confederate States, which is a lie, stating that Union border states were not required to abolish slavery. Well, let's see. After the Civil War, they were brought back into the Union. So it was all America. So yes, they had to, because it's what it was all about. This is how the show tries to make sense of the fact that a state like California, which was established a few years before the Emancipation Proclamation and has no direct ties to Southern slavery, could even have a slave owner as a founder. That's right. See, California was taken from the Mexicans. It wasn't even part of the Civil War. It wasn't even part of the South. They weren't the rebels. They weren't. So it doesn't even make sense. It's just more pap, more ridiculousness. So here's another clip. This is a scene from the Proud Family kid show on Disney. Okay, so here, let's play.
Officers, please put these little kids in cuffs, y'all. Audience, no photos, please.
Why are you in riot gear? We don't see no riot here. Come on, y'all. Here come Wizard Kelly and his goons. Penny, stand your ground. Why are you in riot gear? We don't see no not intimidate us.
Barry, don't just stand there. Do something.
Let's go.
You're gonna arrest our baby. Do something with your white privilege.
Oh, do something with your white privilege? Oh my God. Are you serious? Freak, this just gets more and more woke. Oh my God. Do something with your white privilege? Oh, for frig's sake. Yeah, this is going full blown total woke. You know, why are you in white riot gear? Oh, come on. Yeah, see, this is part of the whole BLM crap. It's just God. Why don't they get it through their heads? They are not supposed to be touting a propaganda style message. You know, and I didn't watch the first episode, but the clips just show more than enough because I bet you they have it in such a way that they end up tearing down the statue. And, you know, because, you know, he was white and, you know, of course, because the history is wrong because California was never part of the South and, oh God. So this is exactly what Marxism does. Erase history, erase anything, you know, about founding fathers or anything like that, and replace it with, well, with crap, right? To promote the message. So, yeah, the show pushes the radical ideology of critical race theory. Oh boy, does it ever! That teaches children that America was founded to enslave black people, not to establish a sovereign nation outside of Britain. Exactly, because slaves built this country. No, it didn't. Okay, you morons. The show continues to make the case for critical race theory, claiming that the way history is told is broken as it whitewashes the origins of slavery. Oh, sweet Lord Jesus, man. You know, if these people would actually pick up a history book, maybe learn something instead of some sort of radical ideology, um, maybe they'd actually learn something. But you know, they have blinders on, so it really does not matter because they're just going to believe what they're going to believe anyway. It's really sad. The show continues when Maya leads a protest against the legacy of the town. Maya's black father is seen yelling at his husband, "Do something with your white privilege." You heard it, folks. As police officers arrive to arrest the kids. And of course, you know, as you saw at the end of the clip, yeah, the police officer just, you know, essentially pushes him back. Ooh boy, police brutality, right, against a black man. That's right. That's another way we're gonna write this show. Police are bad. So the propaganda didn't stop there. Another clip of the show shows the kids performing a spoken word poem entitled "Slaves Built This Country," what I showed earlier, that falsely claims that after the Civil War and the entire civil rights movement, America still hasn't atoned for its sin of slavery. The scene is an outright denouncement of the United States of America to inspire kids to hate America's values and its white founders. Yeah, exactly. The clip that we seen earlier, right? So yeah, it's precisely a Marxism message. It's just tailor-made for the United States because in every country it works slightly differently, right? So you have to make the country rotten at its core and spread out like a virus, like a cancer. And well, let's face it, for years, nothing topped America like Hollywood entertainment. Whether it's Disney, whether it's Warner Brothers, whether it's Paramount, whether it's Fox, doesn't matter. Entertainment is the way to do it, you know, because after all, like a famous Canadian professor said, the medium is the message. Well, when you're using the medium such as movies or animation, which is just essentially moving pictures or comics or whatever, this is the message that you're getting, and this is how you corrupt the younger generation by spreading crap like this. So, um, the episode closes by renaming the town Emilyville after a former slave on Smith's plantation who was eventually freed. Oh God, really? Really? Yes, let's pay for our sins and let's see. And this is it. It's erasing history. You know what you got to do now? Like if you rename an entire town, like maps would have to be changed, GPS would have to change. Like, I mean, aside from the technical aspects of it, but this is total Marxism. Let's erase the past and replace it with something that we say is better. God, I'm God, I'm really hating Disney. So, but this isn't the only critical race project that Disney is currently backing on its streaming service. Hulu, another Disney owned streaming service, is currently promoting the 1619 Project docuseries as often debunked notion that the Revolutionary War was fought in large part to preserve slavery. Oh my God. No, it wasn't that at all. Disney has heavily promoted Nicole Hannah Jones's flawed series as a means to promote false notions about America and its values in an effort to subvert American culture with the end game of ending American values, which is why Disney is now promoting this flawed ideology to your kid. Wow, well, I'm not going to be watching it. Or maybe it will, just report it on the news. So, Disney hopes to corrupt the minds of impressionable youth in the hopes that one day they will reject American values, making it easier for government authorities to take them, such as the First, Second, and Fourth Amendments. Wow. Dang. Skitch to the chat. Hey there, Comic Relief Crusader. Hey, dude. Nice to see you here today. Yeah, we're just talking about Disney here, and you missed the funny news at the beginning of the show, like 44 minutes ago. Hilarious, about a man that's suing a woman for emotional distress because she wouldn't date him. Funny. Uh, so next time, make it here for more funny news, just to get the show started. But yeah, man, I mean, this is just it's ridiculous. This rewriting of history. And I don't care if it's like an animated show or even if it's a quote unquote docu-series. I know a lot of history is written by the winners, but when you make such claims like slavery built this country, wrong. It's wrong. I will, my dude. Okay, promise, promise. Cool. Pinky swear. Um, it's wrong. First of all, this country, America, Canada, basically, North America, Central America, South America. This was all built on, first of all, primarily exploration. Okay. The old school rhyme, probably you might have heard it, in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, right? Plus, up here in Canada, over 1,000 years ago, the Vikings traveled here, went down the coast of Newfoundland and Labrador, and pretty much, as far as we can tell, pretty much all the way down to Florida. They explored this country, right? This was all the French, the Portuguese, the Spanish, the English. It was all on exploration. And also primarily because farmland was very scarce. Another way to feed their, I should put it, their respective empires, right? So to speak, right? The British Empire, the old saying, the sun never sets on the British Empire. Well, it certainly has. So over the years, that's for sure. But, they're a way to feed their respective countries. Let's put it that way. So this country, Canada, the United States, and heck, even South America, Central America, it was built on exploration and commerce. Now, of course, like I said before, slaves did come later, but white people weren't the only people. They make it sound like white people, white North American people, were the only ones in history to own slaves. That is false in itself, so much by country mile. Every empire had slaves, right? Didn't matter if it was the Babylonians or the Egyptians or the Romans, I seem to recall the Egyptians thousands of years ago owning Hebrew slaves till a certain man called Moses came along and took them out of Egypt. I don't hear the current Jewish people crying out for reparations to Egypt, or crying out for reparations to to the German nation for what happened back in World War II. Do you see that? Am I wrong? Like, please tell me in the chat if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But this ridiculous Marxist ideology. I mean, this is getting too much. So back on the topic of, excuse me while I wet my whistle. Doing a lot of talking ends up drying me out a little bit. So getting back on the topic of of Disney. Well, here's the other thing from Disney, because obviously the MCU is part of Disney. Why the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Phase 5 Disney Plus series, Ironheart, oh God, will be Disney's MCU first attempt at grooming your children. Oh, really? God, I hate that Ironheart. And it's not because I'm just against black people. It's the character itself is just ridiculous. Just crap. We already had Tony Stark and we already had our Iron Man. We don't need a cheap knockoff Chinese knockoff replacement. So, okay. Disney, the article says, used to be the home of family entertainment and kids programming. However, much like an uncle who just got out of the joint, I love that analogy. They're the last person you want influencing your children right now. Right, exactly. Because like we just mentioned in season 2 of the Proud Family, yeah, we gotta put in that gay couple. Last year, the Disney company opted to go to war with the state of Florida over their parental rights in education bill. Not the don't say gay bill. Had nothing to do with that. It had to do everything with parental rights. that bans the teaching of sexual orientation and gender identity to students in kindergarten through grade 3. That's right. Okay? Because it's not in the school's place to talk about sex to their children. That is up for the parents, right? The school does not, or I should say the state does not own your children. Okay? Parents do. The message from Disney was clear. If activist teachers in the state of Florida weren't going to be allowed to groom your children into the LGBTQ, Disney would do it for them. That's right. Oh, God. This powder puff cake. Frick, that just looks horrible. In the weeks that followed, Disney employees and executives such as executive producer Latoya Rabineau and the president of Disney General Entertainment Content, Carrie Burke, admitted to having a not so secret agenda to push gay and queer content in Disney produced entertainment programs targeted to children. Gee, really? Yeah, you're not wrong, bro. There are haters out there. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hey, Pitcam. How's it going? Nice to see you here tonight. No, you're on the money, man. Yeah, it's I thank you. I try to be. Um, yeah. Remember, and like I said, for the video, just watch my previous content that I released last year about the whole a whole video on what they're doing to your kids. It's all there, folks. All of it. If you want to browse through it, oh boy, did I report the heck out of that one. Anyway, so for Burke, it was important for them to back this hype of this type of content because she claimed to have transgender and pansexual children. Oh yeah, I remember that woman. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, white woman. That's right. Yeah, nutcase. I'm here as the mother of 2 queer children. Actually, one transgender child and one pansexual child. Oh, boy, God, you're so full of crap. And also as a leader. And that was the thing that really got me because I have heard so much from so many of my colleagues over the course of the last couple of weeks in open forums through emails and phone conversations. I feel a responsibility to speak not just for myself, but for them, Burke stated. And again, I'm not going to play the video because you can watch that on the previous video that I did last year about what's going on over at Disney. So it's oh boy, it it tells a story. I'm telling you. Meanwhile, Rabineau said maybe it was just that way in the past, but I guess something must have happened in the I can't talk tonight. But I guess something must have happened in the last that they're turning it around. They're going hard. And then, like, all that momentum that I felt, that sense of I don't have to be afraid of these 2 characters kiss in the background. I was just like, whatever I could, just basically adding queerness. If you see anything queer in the show, no one would stop me. And no one was trying to stop me. So, yeah, her. God, a face that only a grouper would love. She does look like a grouper. And again, yeah, just watch the video that I did. No, don't report it. So, screw you guys. I'm going. Screw you guys. I'm going home. So, no, I'm sorry. She does have the face like a grouper. It's just like, oh, this and this reminds me of something that happened like years ago when my kids were in school. About this whole Florida bill and whatnot, and how Disney feels that they have to take over. I'm going to tell you something. Years ago, when we lived in New Brunswick, I was working for McCain's, the guys that make the French fries, unless of course you're in the States and you don't get McCain's French fries, then you probably wouldn't know. So, but up here in Canada, McCain's is a big deal. They're a big French fry manufacturer. They make pizza pockets and their cakes and their delectable pies, their cream pies. So good. Anyway, so on occasion, I'd be on a rotating shift where I would have to work like an 8-hour graveyard shift. Okay. And so by the time I would come home, it'd be close to like maybe 8 o'clock in the morning. And, the kids were rushing out to catch the bus. And, so I'd get some sleep and this is just very on occasion, very rarely. But sometimes there was no time to make the kids their lunch, my wife, right? Because getting getting a few kids dressed, getting 3 kids dressed, 4 kids dressed, oh boy, and out the door, is a feat in itself. And thank you, my wife, for getting the kids out the door to go to school so they weren't late. I totally appreciated while I was trying to sleep. But on occasion, sometimes, couldn't get their lunch done. And so I would have to bring them their lunch. And one day the assistant principal came and, oh, you're from Australia, Western Australia. We get McCain's. McCain's, you've done it again. Yes. Thank you. So you watch it all the way from Australia. Wow. I got relatives in Victoria, so welcome from Australia. So I'm glad that you're watching all the way from Australia. But anyway, the assistant principal, the vice principal, came out and said, and he was a former youth pastor, and he had said, Mike, I've noticed that you're coming into school, bringing your kids their lunch. It's like, yeah, in the rush of things, didn't have their lunch made in time. We wanted them to catch the bus to go to school. It's like, well, I'm going to tell you, while your kids are in school, they're under the guardianship of the state. So you can't just keep on coming in here and bring your kids their lunch. And I looked at him like cockeyed, like, excuse me? These are my kids. They're not under the guardianship of the states. You're a freaking school. Your job is just to teach them. Okay. My job as a parent is to make sure that they get a proper education, that they got a roof over their head, and they got food in their belly. And right now I'm bringing them their food for their belly. Well, we can't have you, just disrupting classes and whatnot. It's like, it's friggin' lunchtime. They're not in class anymore, and I'm bringing them their lunch. So that was a big red flag for me. Okay. And the thing is that if a company like Disney thinks that, well, if the schools aren't going to groom your kids, well, then we'll do it for them. And that's just so wrong on so many levels. Your business is to entertain. Your business is not to indoctrinate. Okay? Complete and utter pap. That's what it is. And that's what this is. Yeah, it's pretty damn crazy. You know what? I don't know if there's anything like that going on in Western Australia. But yeah, it is crazy, Skitch. It's totally crazy. So getting back to the news before I rant and rave again, she also stated, I'm still thinking I want to use my content to go deeper. Oh, I bet you'll go deeper. I don't want to elaborate on that statement. Talk about how non-monolithic the LGBTQ plus community as an asexual. As an asexual, I feel like a lot of people don't know what that is. And I have a dissertation ready given at any time. Well, you don't pander it to kids. You don't give it to kids. If you have a dissertation ready, Give it to adults who can process the information properly. Okay? Not children. Children don't understand. Children are innocent. They don't get it. I want to add the pockets of the LGBT community that you don't see. Oh, God, no. No. No, you don't. You really don't. I want to get the gay. I want to get gay advanced. Oh my God. Yeah, because she did say this. And then I realized, oh shit, we need to go back to gay 101, she declared. Yeah, no, we don't need gay advanced. Okay. And we don't want to see the stuff that we don't see in the LGBTQ plus community. This is a children's show. A children's show. What? I'm going to see them play around with hamsters, if you get what I mean. Yeah. We are going deep. Aye, aye, sir. Yeah. I don't think the engines can handle that, Captain. You gotta change the laws of physics. I don't think there's a pipe big enough to get that hamster in there, said Scotty in a different universe that was not the Kelvin universe of Star Trek. So, if any of you get that reference, I applaud you. But no, you don't. You don't show this stuff. I want to get gay advanced. And then I realized, oh, beep, we need to go back to gay 101. Gay advanced? Lady, I don't want to see that in a children's show, and I certainly do not want to have my children see that in a children's show. I don't care if I identify as bi, romantic, asexual. Lady, I could not give two craps about what you identify as. Okay? I want to identify as an Apache helicopter and just blow some of this crap away. Hey, Pop Culture Republic, how's it going, dude? All hell. What did I just walk into here? Oh, dude. Well, I mean, you've missed the first hour, but that's okay. We just went over the funny news, and then we went over some of the sheer tripe that is the Proud Family and their BLM Marxist indoctrination and whatnot, and how Disney just continues to go downhill from here. So there you go. I kind of got you caught up, but you can catch it on the rewind. But like, are you guys reading this? I know you're reading this, but really, if any of you have kids, or if any of you are a kid at heart, like, really, do you want to see this kind of programming? No. Let kids be kids. Let their imagination soar the way they're supposed to. You know, you don't have to bring adult situations, what you do secretly in the bedroom, into their young, impressionable minds. No. For those always wondering why Disney panders to such small minorities of the population, it is because that the population are in management positions at the House of Mouse. Oh God, well, this is true, as we're reading right here. Anyway, right? You figure that with the recent box office performances of the movies such as Lightyear and Strange Worlds, which lost hundreds of millions of dollars, that Disney would get the message that attempting to groom children will not fly with parents. Amen. However, for executives in the company, this isn't about money. For them, this is personal, which leads us into the Marvel Universe. That's right. Oh my God. Buzz Lightyear was just a crap fest. Just pap fest. Crap fest. A pap crap fest. So, you have to Google that crap? Well, that's okay with me. Go ahead. Yeah. I think it was something like last year. I think, and if I got the numbers wrong, I apologize. But this is a rough estimate. I think they made something like what was it, $4.9 billion. But with the message that they keep spreading, they lost 4 billion. Well, they're not making a lot. Imagine losing that much money. I can't even fathom losing that much money. So, but yeah, which leads us into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Good old MCU. So, as part of Phase 5, the longest running soap opera in cinematic history, oh my God, yeah, the MCU will release Ironheart, the black female replacement for the fallen Tony Stark, who is no longer a part of the multiverse saga. It's bad enough that fans have to be fed a character that they have spent the last decade fundamentally rejecting in the world of comic books. But if the casting of the show is any flashing red sign, Ironheart will be the MCU's first attempt at grooming children into the LGBT community. Okay, see, this part I did not know. All right. So, because just Marvel has just been going down here. Okay. So, I guess some sort of alien has not figured out that maybe there are two genders on Earth, and maybe she just got confused. What the hell? Look, you're really good. You're a really good friend, and you saved my life, but oh, I was mistaken. My apologies, Riri. I will leave you alone. Oh, is she like a female? She female Vision? Oh, I guess Vision had kids now. So, oh God, whatever. So, in 2021, a rumor claimed that Marvel's Riri Williams was going to be one of the MCU's first bisexual characters. Of course, she is. In her Disney Plus series. However, that was undercut by other Disney series rushing to be the first series to have a bisexual, such as Disney's Loki. That's right, because last year, or sorry, the year before, yeah, I guess the little comment was made by female Loki that that maybe male Loki did a little bit of diddling or something like that. So, yeah. And Pop Culture Republic says, imagine them putting something out that's clean and family friendly. Yeah, imagine that. That'd be revolutionary, wouldn't it? So, the meh. That's about all I can muster about that. Yeah, exactly right. But having a bisexual character isn't woken up for 2023. No, we got to turn that dial up to 11. So Disney decided to add a drag queen to the mix in Shea Cooley. Drag queens seem to be everywhere these days, such as children's classrooms, churches, and kids shows, and now they're coming to Disney Plus next. Oh my God. Really? See, right now you're actually getting my actual reaction because I'm just reading this article for the first time and realizing this. But of course, Disney, let's have drag queen story hour in a friggin' Disney Plus series because why not? Everybody's doing it. God, these people are so out of touch. Last August, Marvel announced that RuPaul's Drag Race, oh dear God, please no, star Jaron Kylie Morel, better known by his stage name as Shea Cooley, has officially been added to the cast of Ironheart. I just want to drop an F-bomb right now. Many speculate that Cooley will play the drag queen superhero, Dark Veil. Oh, well, there's an apt name. Who was introduced in 2018 in Marvel Comics LGBTQ Iceman series. Oh, yeah, that's right, because they made Iceman gay too now, didn't they? when he never really was. But even drag queens aren't woke enough in the ever-changing community of the LGBTQ. How about a non-binary transgender man? God. Okay, let's look at the fallacy of this non-binary transgender man. Let this sink in. Man, non-binary, transgender? That's where the question mark should be. Oh, God. Maybe this is why I'm not getting so many subscribers, because I'm just calling all of this out. I don't know. I just have to speak the truth, man. This is just, oh God. This is why I'm doing, you know what? This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay? Our youngest daughter, yeah, I know. I can't either, man. I can't. I but I have to. I have to. This is why our youngest daughter does not watch any cartoons, except maybe occasionally Pokemon. But now that she's 13, not even really that, right? However, she's always been fixated on stuff that I used to watch as a kid, right? Transformers. She loves Transformers. She loves my Transformers. She loves or loved watching Transformers cartoons. Um, you know, and occasionally any other cartoon that I had on from the 80s, right? And I asked her, how come you don't want to watch any cartoons now? Like, that are made for you, like, now. It's just like they're all stupid. They're all boring. And this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's not really so much for me. And primarily she did come up with my name, the Comic Relief Crusader. But I'm doing this for her. And it's just unfortunate that she's growing up in this time when she shouldn't have to think or worry about any of this stuff. Just leave the characters the way they're supposed to be. Stop putting in this stupid message that, like for example, Iceman is like gay, so he had his own LGBTQ series, right? He was never gay in the comics. Just some stupid writer came along and decided, oh, I'm going to make him gay. No, he was never gay. Right? It's essentially robbed my daughter of enjoying some really good comics because she liked Spider-Man. She still likes Spider-Man. Of even reading those comics because they're all trash now. And I think, you know what I might do? I think I might find some old issues of Spider-Man. Like, I don't know, maybe some of the Eric Larson run or maybe some of the McFarlane run. I know they're probably a lot of money, some of them, but the art was good. The story was great. Actually, there's a store next door to me that has actually a lot of comic books for sale. And I think he has all of the Secret Wars issues. And I think maybe I'll get all of them from him and just give it to my daughter. Yeah, here you go. Enjoy these Marvel comics. It was great. Pop Culture Republic says Scooby-Doo, Super Friends, Inspector Gadget. Yeah, exactly. You can't go wrong with those and a few others. We had it back in the 70s and 80s. Exactly. We did. God, back in the 70s, I used to watch Fat Albert. Loved Fat Albert. Hey, it's time to go and play. So, love Fat Albert. Love that intro music. God. They were good shows, but not this. And like obviously I've mentioned a few times, I am a Transformers fan. I'm a Transformers fan. I've loved it ever since the 80s. And there's another Transformers cartoon series out, and I think one of the characters, their preferred pronouns is them, they. Like, what? No. And this is just ruining it. It's ruining everything. Yeah, totally agree, guys, for sure. Thanks, Skitch. Appreciate it. So, anyway, moving Moving on. See what I do? I end up ranting and raving. One of these days, I'm going to go on a Doomcock rave. So, and just really start yelling. I know I am one of these days. Many of you reading this may not have heard of the actor Zoe Turakis? I don't know, whatever. But after reading this article, you will wish that you knew less about her story. Oh, great. Okay. Takakis, whatever, is a 22-year-old actor who got their break in the Australian women's prison drama Wentworth. Shortly after announcing Cooley's casting of the series, Disney added Turakis to a key role in the upcoming series. Okay. Well then, Transformers, yes, sir, exactly. And if you want any of my posters, then contact me here on top of that. So, because I sell posters at you know what? Actually, I gotta correct that because it's not freelance graphics, it's freelance graph. But freelance graphics is my website. So there we go. Save it. So at freelancegraph at hotmail.com. Or check out my website, Freelance Graphics, IKS, for a poster because you're a Transformers fan. Anyway, so I'm guessing that was it Pitcom or was it Skitch? That was from Australia. Oh, Skitch was. Yes, Skitch, you were from Australia. You probably might have heard of this actor. I guess I don't know if you have watched this prison drama, Wentworth. So, in a recent interview, Tarakis, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right, but what the heck, proclaimed excitement uh, at the representation her casting would provide to transgender youth. I think of trans people growing up, and I didn't get to see myself anywhere, so I really didn't know that I existed," said the actor who identifies as a non-binary transgender man. God, that's such an oxymoron. So you're either one or the other. If you're non-boundary, you're neither. So you can therefore not be called a man. You can neither be called a woman either. So Track has concluded. I see. I gotta try to do this with an Australian gay accent or something like that. It feels like I think I just deeply. I feel deeply grateful. I moved that these little transgender kids and trans teens have something to look at and to know that they exist and to know that they can have superpowers and and that's where we belong. God, I hope I didn't botch that. But yeah. And Skit says, no, but heard of Wentworth. I try not to watch Aussie crap. Gross. Is it really that bad? Is this is something very interesting. Okay, because you know what? Sketch, first of all, again, thank you for watching all the way in Western Australia. I don't know what time it is, but I'm sure that it's probably getting late. And of course, you're in tomorrow. So because where now it is here Tuesdays, um, you're in Wednesday. Not a bad accent. I try. So believe me, I'm trying my hand at voice acting. So plus on top of that, my mom and dad, who I said was German and Austrian, actually met in Australia and they got married there, right? So on occasion, my dad will say mate, you know. Um, and I just thought it was interesting that a German and an Austrian got married in Australia and then moved to Canada. So there's a story for you right there. Um, so this is the other thing, right? Now, because I don't want to get off track, but and then you said you try not to watch Aussie crap. Is it really that bad? Oh, it's 10:18 in the morning there. Okay, cool. So, okay, yeah. So basically, yeah, you just got up early in the morning and you're deciding to watch this. That's very awesome. Um, but I would be very interested because I know a lot of the stuff that I post on my channel is a lot of stuff that's coming out of the North American market. Let's put it that way. Okay. A lot of the stuff that Paramount or Fox, which is obviously now Disney, or Warner Brothers, the Hollywood machine, um, that's being produced here in North America, that obviously does go worldwide. Um, I'd be very interested to know what they're producing in Australia to even report. Because if somebody like you, that's all the way in Western Australia, that's watching this channel, by which again, thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. Please spread it if you can. Um, I just want to know what, the message that's being pushed there. And I would love to report it as well, because this is not just, secluded to North America, to, the United States and Canada. This is a worldwide thing that's going on. And I would rather report it all over and get everybody's consensus worldwide, saying, you know what? Yeah. Hey, I'm over here like yourself. Like, hey, I'm over here in Australia. This is what's going on here. Report this. What's going on in my entertainment industry. Or, I have cousins still in Germany. And, I actually understand some German, but I can't really speak it much. But I would love to get their take on what's going on, say, in the entertainment industry in Germany. I have friends in the UK. Um, I would love to hear more about what's going on over there, or say in South Africa, or, and I got a buddy in Japan. I want to get his take about what's going on over there. So, I would be very interested, um, to hear. No worries, I will spread it. Oh, it's happening here too. Yeah, I can imagine it's happening there, because I know my great aunt in Australia. Oh boy, she's extremely liberal from what my mom said. So I'd love to contact her, but she's afraid that I would insult her or something like that, which I wouldn't, because she's family. But anyway, so my Australian accent was half decent. Okay, good to know. At least I'm on par, or at least try to be. Since Tarakas was officially cast in the role of the upcoming Ironheart series, the the actor underwent, oh Jesus, please, gender affirming care. Oh God, by surgically removing her breasts at the young age of 22. Oh dear God. I'm not a woman, but I don't feel entirely like a man. So okay. So actually she's female. She's not even really a man. So, oh my God. So basically she surgically mutilated herself to look like a male, but really in reality, she's a female. Well, if you don't entirely feel like a man, then you should have stuck with just being a woman, because you probably look pretty decent as a woman. I'm sorry, that's just my feelings on it. I'm a boy human, a human boy. No, I'm sorry, you're a human girl. You can't change DNA. That's science. You can believe that's science. And so, I should be doing this in an Australian accent, but then again, I'm not a woman, as I just found out she was. So, doing a female Australian accent would just be probably strenuous on me. I'm a boy human, a human boy. And so, until there's an award system that that accommodates for for genderqueer trans folks, we're going to have to make the system work for us. Oh, there's an interesting statement. We're going to have to make the system work for us. So no longer can it be for about, the system working for everybody. It has to be exclusive for them. So you can see already in this statement alone, make the system work for us. This is starting to sound like we're going to have to segregate some of the population and favor us. No, you can't do that. The system is supposed to be for everybody, not just special interest groups. It is it is a given that members of the media will call you racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, and xenophobic if you do not give Ironheart a 10-star rating when the show releases this year. It is the only playbook. It is the only play in the book at this point. However, there is a much more sinister agenda at play here. Yes, there is. I totally 100% agree. Pop Culture Republic. Be right back. Got to step away from the computer. Still listening in the background. Okay, dude. Not a problem. Andy Masterson sketch said, don't make any permanent decisions before you're 30. And you don't know who you are until you're 40. Paraphrasing. Yeah, no, you know what? That's true. That's true. Because even at 30, and I can attest, because I don't want to date myself here, but I am, older, and even at 30, you're still partially kind of like in that 20s kind of mentality. You're still kind of figuring life out somewhat. You're a bit more solidified, but you haven't exactly worked out all the kinks. You're just kind of ironing them out at that point. And you know what? Sure. Do it when I would even say, you know what? If you really want to, hey, first of all, your body, you can do whatever you want to it. You know what? Do it when you're 35 or 40, when you got all of life figured out. But then again, usually it's too late, because the older you get, the more conservative you generally become, because then you start seeing all the bull crap that's going on in society. So there you go. God, young people today are so stupid. Most. Not all. Just most. Last year, GLAAD CEO Sarah Kate Ellis, the head of the largest LGBTQ lobby in the country, called on the industry to turn up LGBT content in children's programming. Okay, groomer. Hollywood must take meaningful action and soon convene the biggest brands, agencies, studios, and streamers together to commit to improving the quality, quantity, and diversity of LGBTQ images, especially in kids and family programming. See what I'm talking about? Because you know what? If you don't bend the knee to them, as many have called them, the gay mafia, well then, what did we see before? Then name me the istophobe that I am. Am I a racist? Am I a homophobe? Am I a xenophobe? Am I a whatever phobe? What's the flavor of the month going to be for calling me what I supposedly am then? Ellis, who is a lesbian herself, has commented to grading major studios for their quality of LGBTQ representation in movies and TV. Of course she's a lesbian herself, because why wouldn't she be? I gotta push it down everybody's throat, because everybody must accept me for who I am. And if they don't, they're a bigot and a fascist. I hate Trump. So, the World Economic Forum, oh God, bunch of scammers themselves, has also called on more diverse and inclusive lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer LGBTQ stories in media. Like, what do they even have to do with anything besides being a bunch of criminals themselves anyway? Seriously? They're not producing crap unless, some of that Hollywood money is coming from them. Then they have to listen. But see, it's shit. Sorry. Shouldn't swear because YouTube will probably dox me somehow. But see, it's like, you know what? I I'm gonna tell you guys something, okay? Because like I said before, I'm pretty conservative. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a point of view that I have, as opposed to, say, a lesbian, a liberal point of view. Okay. Um, I don't go around toting, saying, you know, slamming my fist down. Oh my God! If you don't believe this, then then you're a heterosexual phobe, or or you're I don't know, you're a Marxist, or well, I mean, some of them are, so I will call them out on that. But I don't go around with people that I disagree with. I don't go out of my way saying, um, if you don't agree with me, then you're this or this or this. You know, However, if somebody comments and they make some sort of outlandish claim that is incorrect, I'll call them. And if they tend to make a really stupid remark, then, you know, yeah, then all hands on deck. I'm going to call you out on it and call you an idiot. But, that's about as far as that goes. But it's not like I'm pushing like these people, like this, I don't know, like this angry Barbarella wannabe that happens to be lesbian, of course. There has to be this kind of programming going on. There just has to be. No. You don't see a bunch of church groups friggin' picketing outside saying, uh, why don't you have church content in your programming? Well, then again, I mean, yeah, I'll give it this. There are some churches that are picketing against the programming that's currently on a lot of movies and TVs, and what ends up happening? Antifa comes out or whatever, beats the crap out of him, which I'm totally against. Don't punish people just because they have a different point of view, but don't push your point of view on other people and then force them to accept it for what it is. It's bull crap. Yeah. Yes, angry Barbarella. Thank you for getting that. So, the World Economic Forum. Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, just read that. Yeah, been more critical. So, the group notes, with new challenges facing the community, specifically attacks against trans youth, there aren't any attacks against trans youth. God, give me a break. It is cultural institutions like television that take on the role of changing hearts and minds. Yeah, it's called propaganda. What people see and hear in the media impacts the decisions we make in schools, offices, living rooms, courtrooms, and at the ballot box. Oh, really? No. See, media used to, for all intents and purposes, used to report the news. Media used to be a reflection of what was happening in society, about what was going on in life. Now it's the opposite. Now everything is flipped around, where news is telling you what to think, and where media is telling you what you should think, what you should feel, and, and exactly what she says impacts the decisions, right? The media impacts the decisions we make in school, offices, living rooms, courtrooms, and at the ballot box. Okay. Who we are they talking about? Well, they're obviously talking about we in the World Economic Forum, or we at GLAD, right? Not you, we. So you got to watch these little words that they use, this word play that they use, right? Always listen to the words they use. So, why are all these powerful organizations making it their mission to bring your children into the arms of the LGBTQ? Well, obviously, because they want a screwed up world. They don't want the normal world. I guess that's too vanilla for them. We have to make it spicy. I don't know. There are numerous answers and theories to this question. Oh, trust me, I do have a very interesting answer and theory. But let's use an example to answer this. Zoe Tarakas, okay, once a young teenage girl who is now, what, a 22-year-old butchered female, who was inspired by her film club and heavily influenced by LGBTQ. Really? And just a couple of years into her acting career, she came out as trans at 19. And within 2 years, underwent breast removal surgery to affirm her gender as a non binary male. Okay, again, non binary and male. It's an oxymoron. Aside from you're still biologically down to the DNA, still a girl, still a woman. And non binary, well, if you're identifying as a non binary male, then you can toss out the non binary freaking stupid tag. See what I'm talking about? It's just sheer clown world. Yeah, see, you're getting it. Yeah, the wordplay, very sneaky. Exactly. Keep listening very carefully to the words that they use, right? Because all of this down in writing, it really points it out even more so. It's like, oh, you know what? I didn't really hear it in the video, but when you got it typed down, that's why people don't. A lot of people, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people, we tend to listen most of the time without thinking, without processing the message. You know, we just listen to the information. And a lot of us tend to not really fully process it. So that's why you really got to train your hearing and really listen deeply to the message. And the same thing goes with, like, even the same thing goes for music, listening to music, listening to lyrics, you know, because they're always saying, you know, like, you know, music, I don't know about nowadays really, but you know, it's supposed to tell a story, you know, or has a message in it. You know, it's always about the message. So, and that's why you're going to be very careful to what you're listening to, even in music, because, you know, like an old computer term that was used, Gigo, Gigo, and it means garbage in, garbage out for processing. Okay. So any garbage information that goes in, well, garbage is going to come out. So tend to listen very carefully to the word. Yeah. Wordplay, Pop Culture Republic says. Powerful delusion. These people are deluded. Exactly. So so the reason why Hollywood wants to expose your children to the same influence they expose Tarakas is that they want your kids to go down the same road. If it's about making trans kids feel good about themselves, it's about creating more kids like her, like Tarakas. And the best way to get to them is to grab them when they're young and impressionable. That is so true. It's true. GLAAD, Disney, the World Economic Forum serve one master. Well, this is true. And if you don't protect your children from what is coming next, your kids will be led down the dark path that they have paved for them. Exactly. Like this scene from Lightyear. If any of you have watched Lightyear, you know, as the years went by, as he returned to that planet from testing that, what was it, that hyper fuel or something like that, you know, and as everybody got older when he returned, yeah, the big lesbian scene and you know, the fun, that still doesn't make sense. Like what? Is he adopted? Because I'm pretty damn sure two females cannot have a child together. So Disney and those around him are saying the quiet part out loud. The question is, are you listening? See, this is what I got back to. Listen, 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 listen. So, so that was that. That was that. The two big things going around on Disney. It's sad. It's really really sad. Hey, John Rendell. Nice to see you, dude. Yeah, the Constitution and the Declaration and our laws and our procedures. Sorry, I missed the previous thing. Processing information, John Rendell says. It's like with Obama saying, we are going to fundamentally change America. Oh boy. Yeah, everyone heard that. Everyone heard the sentence, but failed to see the fundamentals of America are the Constitution and the Declaration of our laws and procedures. So, yes, hail my Fez brother. Nice. I hope you're feeling better. In what was it, boring old Pennsylvania, as you said. So I hope you're feeling a lot better, man. Really, really, really concerned for your health. So, and you know what? I try to really, remember these things. So I hope you're doing good. Pop Culture Republic says, yeah, fundamentally changed. Yep, I see it. It's very much like we are two separate and distinct cultures or even countries. This is not the country I grew up in. Exactly. Sketch, I don't know how old you are, but you seem of sound mind. So I'm glad for that. So hopefully that tells me that you got your head screwed on tight at a young age, or that you're probably of age and just wise that way. So feeling great, had a great night at the lodge. Awesome, dude. Awesome. Um yeah, and John Rental, Sketch, Pop Culture Republic. It's how should again, how should I put it without dating myself as old? Um you know, I'm I'm just going to come out and say it, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be 51. All right. Oh my God. You're officially in your fifth decade. Um, but young at heart, as many of you obviously can tell. And, you know, growing up, obviously, over the decades, okay, being born in 72, um, and it wasn't like I was just plonked down in front of a TV and left to my own devices. Okay. My mom and dad were very good. And there was always stuff to do, go outside, play, blah, 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 use my imagination, play with Lego and stuff like that. Um, you're not alone there. I have about a year on you. Okay, cool. It's not a race. um, but, you know, um, over the past, dare I say, I'm not going to say 10 years, and I'm not even really going to say 15, but you can see something really slowly change. I'm going to say late 90s. Probably maybe yeah, I'm going to say mid to late 90s. You start to see a fundamental change in media, whether it's on TV shows, not so much movies, slightly in movies, but especially in commercials. You look at a lot of commercials now, okay? A lot of them. And I'm not talking about a lot of the pharmaceutical commercials, which seem to permeate every other commercial break that's in the United States. I see a lot of US programming. Trust me, you guys are just bombarded with God, pharmaceutical commercials like one after the other. Oh my God. I don't know how you guys can stand it down there. But overall, or for Skitch, I don't know what it's like, for commercial breaks like down in Australia, but I'd be very interested to know as well. Here in Canada, it kind of somewhat seems very balanced. But aside from that, you can see over time, if you really think back, for the longest time, they've made men look like the buffoon in a lot of commercials, like some sort of, you know, just some sort of moronic, bumbling, stupid character that just can't seem to get anything right. Oh, really? Mainly insurance commercials? Well, that's interesting. Huh. Do you guys have a lot of accidents in Australia? Is it all those poisonous snakes and spiders? That would explain for it, I guess. So, Pop Culture Republic says, I hate to say late 90s as well. Yeah, I'd say late 90s as well. I heard some say that things really changed on 9/11. Unfortunately, entertainment kind of shifted a bit prior to that. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking. John Riddle, yeah, I avoid TV because the shows suck. Yeah, well, you got that right. And the commercials never end. I just got ad blocker on YouTube, and wow, I feel much better. Yeah, well, that's good. But it seems like, really thinking here, it seems like first they start with the commercials, then it seems to slowly creep into TV shows and then movies, right? Because a lot of people, obviously, that's where the big money comes from, movies. The millions and billions of dollars. Of course, you got a really good hit TV show. Then you're going to be seeing some serious quid here. Yeah. Yes, here too, lobotomized men who have no idea. Ah, okay. That explains a lot of insurance commercials then. So, yeah, cool. Ad blocker works wonders. Oh, okay. I might have to try that sometime. But yeah, it's the creeping in. It's and at first, you kind of roll your eyes at it, because it's like maybe a little thing here and there. It's always like a little thing that's dropped in a TV show or in a movie. And it's like, oh, that's odd. I wonder why they added that in. That's the way it kind of used to be. But now it's like all the time. It's programming. And it's literally the word, because TV programming. It's not about the programs anymore, right? That are on TV or movies, right? It's not about those programs. It's now about programming you, the viewer. But now, with Disney, it's about programming the youth. And John Reynolds says, yeah, 9/11, yes. As soon as Tori Amos and other celebrities came out against our policies in the Middle East and all the Americans are racist messages, it all started going to hell. Yeah, remember Dixie Chicks, right? That's what got Dixie Chicks pretty much canceled. Yeah, we're against the war in the Middle East. So, yeah, any TV show worth watching is unsupported and then canceled after 1 or 2 seasons. Yeah, I know, because I remember Chuck, it almost got canceled in the second season, at the end of the second season, and then after the third season. And you know what? That was an awesome show. Wasn't woke at all, but fans loved it. Yeah, the first 2 weeks after 9/11 were more united than ever since World War II. Then the disillusion began. Yeah, exactly. Isn't that right? lot of people were actually re-going back to church, and everybody was just being nice to everybody because they really realized that, wow, this happened. We really need to unite as a country. Oh, but we can't have that. We have to have our division. But no, getting back to what I was saying, it's all about programming you now. It's all about programming the youth, as we've just seen with Disney over the past 2 hours here almost. Um, it's essentially trying to tell youth, yeah, this is the way it is. You can trust us. We're Disney. This is a fun animated show. And not to be insulting, but kids are sponges. And they'll absorb that message because they know that. Kids are very impressionable. And they know that. And they want to turn children, and obviously, like say, the Proud Family, which I imagine is primarily watched by a lot of black kids. And I'm not saying all black kids watch the Proud Family. I'm not saying that at all, right? Not saying that. Yeah, exactly. It's called programming for a reason. That's right. But with messages like this, it's just saying to children, hey, yeah, you can go out. You can be a little anarchist. You just take our word for it. This is the real history of what's going on. Yeah, there's nothing good about this country. It was all built on slavery. No, that's false. That's telling a lie. It's lying to children. No, there's nothing good about this country. Really? Explorers transversed the Atlantic. Now, I've been in the Atlantic. All right? I've been on ships. Not a lot of ships, but I've been on ships. And I've been out in the ocean. And those waves in the Atlantic, they can get extremely big. And they can get very violent. And I imagine with Skitch, from what I know a little of oceanography, he can probably testify that, hey, that ocean, Southern Pacific, just west of Australia, off the coast there, that area, that patch of sea can get super violent. A lot of ships sometimes do not even make it through there, from what I've heard. Kids should be left alone to their imagination. You know what? If your kids are bored, my wife and I kind of talked about this. You know what? There's nothing wrong with kids being bored, turning out the TV, taking away their computer, let them sometimes to their own devices, because their imagination will start up. They'll look for something to do. Hopefully something very, I hate using the word, but progressive in the term of, doing something creative, progressing in their natural abilities to be able to do something. Aardman. Oh yeah, Aardman animation. Yeah. Wallace and Gromit. Yeah, Shaun the Sheep, Morph. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, and you know what? And those shows, they're awesome. Yeah, and it doesn't make me want to vomit in my shorts. Yeah, exactly. Rex the Runt, even that was even made for an older audience as well. So and made by Aardman Animation. So if you haven't seen Rex the Runt, look it up. It's very funny. Yeah, little kids should be left alone. Let their sense of wonder at puffy clouds and grasshoppers and other stuff to occupy their minds. Yeah, no, the stuff that makes being a kid fun. Exactly. Yeah. Wallace and Gromit was enjoyable. Once in a while, I'll go back and watch Farscape. Yeah, my wife and I just went through Farscape a few weeks ago, or Dark Matter again. Actually, I want to check out Dark Matter, so I heard it's pretty good. Partway through Babylon 5 again. These are good TV shows that we don't get today. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love Babylon 5. It's a great storyline. And, and that's kind of what, that's why we went through Farscape. And then my wife sat down with me and, she kind of got into it, and next thing you know, we're kind of like binge watching episode after episode. Yeah. And that's a pretty good story too. So, but Babylon 5, yeah, it's really awesome. And I heard they want to remake it again, but hopefully it won't be crappy. So, um, bored kids, give them a book. No, you know what? And I do. I give our youngest daughter, I give her books. I give her books. And this Christmas, I got her a series of books again because she loves it. Yeah, man, the Roaring 40s where the Indian and Southern Ocean meet. Yep. See, yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's rough ocean. Huge waves, friggin' huge. Normally, where around the world yachtsmen meet Davy Jones's locker. Exactly. Yeah, it's a violent patch of ocean. But yeah, getting back to what I was saying. I mean, those people, those explorers that transverse the Atlantic, they're what made this country great, this patch of world great. They had imagination, they had scope, they had guts, everything essentially that, makes a man, so to speak. Their sense of wonderment to go out on a boat, on a wooden craft over the ocean, not knowing what's on the other side, albeit, to find India, which they kind of thought they found, but that was not so. But, whatever. That's not the point. That's it's what's in the history books. Teach them that because hopefully it'll spark their interest to want to be explorers themselves. That's what kids should be, full of wonderment, full of excitement about, what possibly is around the corner that I've never seen before. Let them absorb information, factual, real information that'll make them want to become, I don't know, maybe a space explorer of some sort, maybe an explorer in their creativity where they want to, I don't know, write a story, make a comic book, make a movie of something original. That's what kids should be, not filling them full of crap, full of pap, full of, dreck that, that tries to promote the sense of hate your country or hate a person because of their skin color or hate a person just because they don't agree with, your, how should I put it, your sexual proclivities. Kids don't need that. They don't, again, with the term garbage in, garbage out. If you want to have your kids listen to all that kind of crap on TV or even on the radio or reading it in a book, well, then don't be surprised if that garbage that goes in is the garbage that comes out. And I'm not saying that every parent out there that has tried to do their best raising their kids, if their kids end up, finally leaving the nest, the proverbial nest, and end up doing something totally different than how they were raised. You know what? At that time, they're adults and it's out of the parents' hands. And, I know I know a parent can feel very guilty about it. Again, excuse me for drinking in your ear, but as a parent, and I imagine, some of you that might be watching this at a later date or even watching it now, if you've ever had kids or if you have kids now, and if you're raising them right or trying to do your best raising them right, and later on in life when they're out of the watchful eye of you, the parent, don't feel like you did something wrong. You know, don't. Because as a parent, you're doing the best that you can. And like the old saying goes, there's no manual for parenting. I mean, I know there's a lot of books on parenting, but teach them what's right. Teach them what's real. Teach them the truth. And in the end, they're going to have to make their own decisions in life because, well, then they're adults. But if you've done the right thing, then you really shouldn't be feeling, guilty about any of it, about how things turn out for them. They're independent, but it's the growing up part while they're under your watchful eye that really matters. That really matters. And if you're going to end up letting them watch propaganda, Marxist propaganda like this, then what? Don't be surprised if they end up, say, disrespecting you as a parent after they learn to disrespect their country or disrespect the town that they lived in or disrespect other people just because they have a different belief system or a different skin color or if they were just plain old raised differently. Don't be surprised if you're next. So, and that's pretty much my whole take on it. So, and I'm droning on again. So, but then again, that's why we're on these titillating Tuesdays to talk about stuff like this. Sometimes just have that deep conversation. About what's really going on in the world and what we can try to do to just try to counter this. Talk some sense into reality here. Because it just seems like the world is just nuts. It's nuts, baby. So, John Rendell, I was on the USS George Washington on a family tiger cruise when my nephews was on it. Went out about 30 miles. Awesome time. Back from the bow, there was some wind up to the edge of the bow, and it was wind, baby. Wow. Yeah, I know. Being out there, oh, it's a magical feeling, being out on the ocean. It's great. It's okay so long as you don't drink out my ear. Nah. I make no promises, my friend. So, anywho, so we've been going on for 2 hours. I want to thank everybody that has been here tonight. I really greatly appreciate it. So, excuse me. Snaggle Fricklepuss, I know you say that you're listening at work, so hopefully I didn't get you in trouble. So I appreciate you listening at work. The Lost Wanderer, I don't know if you're still out there, bud, but if you're still there, thank you for dropping by. And then, of course, the Mighty Skitch from Western Australia. That's really awesome to have somebody listen from Australia. You know what? And I'm really glad that you made time. Early in the morning. Well, I suppose not really early because, at the time it was like, a little bit past 10. So in the morning, but you're listening from the future. So that is an awesome feat in itself. And we had Pitcam drop in. And so howdy, Pitcam. I don't know if you're still in the chat or whatnot, but, great to have you here as well. And Pop Culture Republic drop by. And always glad to see you here, Pop Culture Republic. And of course, my Fez bro, John Rendell, the mighty Fez bro, that has also dropped in as well. And yeah, so I think we're probably going to call it a night. So, Ear Chardonnay is not recommended for human consumption. Is it not? So, cool stream. Glad I caught the back half of it. Well, hey, you know what, man? Just catch it on the replay. So, well said, Comic Relief Crusader. Great show, man. Love the council, dude. Well, I hope you drop in more. And yeah, same with you, Pedcam. So I'm glad that both of you here. I don't think I've ever seen you two in the chat before, but you know what? I'm glad that you guys dropped by. Really awesome. Come back again every Tuesday. And like I say in every video, hit the like button and spread the link and subscribe. And as you know, I am a graphic designer, and if you need anything nerdy done, please get in contact on the aforementioned corrected email address. I really do appreciate it. If you need anything done, and also check out my store, which is also on my graphic design site at Freelance Graphics. That's FREELANCEGRAPHIKS. And check out the store there, and where you can buy some really cool merchandise and even t-shirts and posters as well, because as I mentioned, I'm a Transformers fan, so I've done scale charts for much of the fandom, which I've sent out worldwide, and yes, even to a lot of third-party companies out there that also use them as well. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. That being said, it looks like I'm probably still working with X Transbots, which is a third-party company, for those of you that don't know, that make figures, and currently talking to the boss man over there about possibly making Sharkticons, as they've already released 2 Quintessons, or actually, sorry, 3 Quintesson figures right now. Again, reference back to Transformers show back in the 80s. And working on a secret project for somebody, which hopefully soon enough, if I can get the work done, will see the light of day and make somebody very happy. And then after that, a comic, hopefully for 2 people, which I won't mention who, because I would just be blown away with the surprise. And of course, thanks to my daughter for inspiring me even more so, because I had a story in the back of my head that I've been wanting to do. Again, excuse me for drinking, because in Alberta, the Texas of Canada, sometimes it gets very dry here. For inspiring me on character design. So I'm also, yet again, like I mentioned last year, but things got delayed. Going through some character creation right now. And, going to be working on my own comics. So after 30 years of producing a fanzine way back when, and again, you can watch the video that I did last year of it, and the radio interview that also goes along with it. Later on, probably later this year, I'm going to be reintroducing Drop Off Comics again. Hopefully with its first, if not second title. So, some cool stuff happening here. So I'm going to also get in touch with, more than likely, some Comicsgate people. And I know some of you know one, Hungry Boy, which is on occasion on Clobberin Times on his YouTube channel. So I very much trust his opinion. Fanzine is not a chemical cleanser. The more you know. Okay, thank you. So, thank you, man. Appreciate it. But I'm gonna get his expert opinion on a few things, because I really want this to be good for you guys. So, so just working away at it. So you know what? So let me let out with this little tidbit here, okay? And this comes from a song, "Rolling Along" by the Mavericks. Life hill isn't easy. It's uphill, believe me. Whether you're weak or you're strong, sometimes you feel like you're back on your heels and everything's going all wrong. Through the confusion and all disillusion, somehow life goes on. I found a cure I know works for sure, and we just keep rolling along. So bring on the trouble and burst every bubble. I promise it won't change a thing. I always find that my peace of mind still flies like a bird on the wing. What's going to happen is still going to happen. The one thing that you can count on: don't fix what ain't broken while Willie's still smoking, and we'll just keep rolling along. So, oh no, not the dreaded comic skate. Yes, I dared to tread there. So listen, guys. Thank you all for showing up on this Titillating Tuesdays. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, share like crazy, spread the message that is the Comic Relief Crusader to the far end reaches of the world, which I guess that's actually where it's going, because now I just found out I got my furthest listener all the way in Western Australia. So that's awesome. So, and yes, dude, Skitch, hopefully you're still here. If you want to shoot any information to me about, what's going on in the entertainment industry in Australia, I'd be really interested to hear it. Any articles or anything like that you want to share? Yeah. You know what? Because let's go international with this. Let's go worldwide. This is not just happening in Canada and North America and stuff like that. This is what's going on. It's a worldwide thing. Pitcam, I don't know where you're at, but also thanks for joining in. So, and I know we're Pop Culture Republicans and John Rendell, but hey, you got to include the new guys, and you gotta butter them up, right? So, so guys, to all of you, from all of me, I want to thank you here for joining me tonight on a Titillating Tuesday, and I guess next week's going to be Titillating Tuesday number 24 as we get closer to 25, and I want to plan something really fun and really cool for the 25th one, because it's like a quarter way from 100, and as I'm getting up there in subscribers, I just want to make it fun as usual. So like I said before, from all of me to all of you, thank you for showing up on Titillating Tuesdays, and I'll see you guys next week. So, international for sure. Your culture is my culture, friend. Awesome, dude. Awesome. So everybody, gonna say goodnight, and to my wife, I'm gonna be staying a little bit longer, just get a little bit of extra work done, and then I will tell you when I'm ready to come home to those sweet lips of yours. I love you. Anyway, guys, have a good night, and I'll see you again next week. Later.